Hi everybody, Chris Stokes from Custom Fitness Personal Training Studio, and our topic of the day is reading food labels, mainly talking about serving sizes. So we've got another blog out about reading food labels. If you haven't read that, that would be a great thing to check out. So most people come in and they say, well, I've been reading food labels. That can mean several different things. So a lot of times we just read them because we have been told that we should. A lot of times we know what we're looking for. Sometimes we're looking for really odd things. So just wanted to kind of clear up a couple things today, but you may have started to figure out, if you are reading food labels, just how deceptive they can be. Some of that, well, really all of that is on purpose. So the nutrition facts, as far as the actual calories involved, the protein counts, the sugar counts, all that stuff, that's all regulated by the government. It has to be a certain font size, certain point. It has to have certain things in there, and it has to look an exact way. On the front of the package, the side of the package, the bottom, the top, the government does not regulate that. It can say and look like anything that they want it to. So if they feel like they've made an organic product, they can say that on the package. Now, if it doesn't have the USDA seal that says USDA organic, then it's not certified organic, but they can certainly still say it on there. They can also say things like sugar-free, fat-free, low-fat, whatever they want to say on the package. The only thing that's regulated is that nutrition facts part with the numbers on it. So the rest of it, they can pretty much do and say whatever they want to. So kind of deceptive again. I've seen cases of sugar-free honey, meaning that they didn't put any extra sugar in it. But if you know anything about honey, then you know that honey is sugar. It's pure sugar. So to say sugar-free honey is kind of funny to me. I've seen gluten-free fish, gluten-free ham, things like that, where I know that there could be a possibility of them putting a flour product on there, but for the most part, they're banking on the fact that you have a very minimal knowledge of what it is that these words actually mean. Gluten-free is such a hype now that, obviously there are some people who definitely are using that because of a medical issue, but there's so many more that have jumped on that bandwagon just because gluten-free typically takes out some of the things that they really enjoy eating, so they consume less and they start to see weight loss and those kinds of things. Other people get on health kicks and don't fully understand what these things were created for, why they're being promoted now, and why so many people are on them, and so they just kind of jump in to be a part of that. So gluten-free, if it doesn't have a wheat product in it, then it probably didn't have gluten to begin with. But they're banking on the fact that you'll probably buy that product because it says gluten-free. So it's a marketing tactic at that point to be able to make more sales because it says something. Kind of like the juice. So I've brought this up before, that your regular fruit juices are not obviously all that healthy for you. Most of them are heat processed and go through lots of different steps in that processing to where they lose most of their nutrition, and pretty much all you're left with is a bottle of sugar. Marketing wise, in order to sell more bottles, they actually refrigerate it, even though it's unnecessary because of the heat processing that it goes under. Typical bottled juice does not have to be refrigerated, so it can sit on the shelf, but they see a 68% higher sale rate whenever it's in the refrigerated section. So they'll move it to the refrigerated just so that you'll be more likely to buy it. So there's a lot that goes into marketing. Now, on our topic today on the serving sizes, that also is a part of that. So you're looking at a package of something and you're seeing that it has, so many servings per that package. The question is not, did you read that part? Because you probably skimmed over it at least. But the question is, are you willing to separate that package into its appropriate serving sizes? So what made me think of this today was that I had opened up a box of salad, or a box of lettuce, if you will. It was actually pea leaves and pea sprouts. And so I opened it up, and on the front of it, it's just really big, superfood, and tells what all's in it, and it talks about the fact that it's got a higher protein level than all these other things, and it's so great for you and wonderful. Now we're talking like a 16-ounce box of leaves, right? And I get all different kinds of leaves to kind of mix things up and mix and match and do different things. But I had to laugh whenever I turned it over, because I thought, I want to see just how much protein is in this for them to be claiming this on the front with exclamation marks in red. They were making a big thing of it. So flip the thing over and you're going to get a total of 5 grams of protein from these leaves, which is awesome, right? Until you see that the serving size is the entire box. Like, you're supposed to eat that whole box at one sitting in order to get that 5 grams of protein. So yes, it may be protein packed, but if you're not ready to eat an entire box of lettuce, then you might want to choose some other options. So kind of like I was saying, for me, I mix and match different leaves together for their different nutritional benefits, as well as add things to that. So this morning it was some eggs with some pea leaves and spinach, and a little bit of everything to kind of add in some extra variety in there. So that's something to kind of consider. So in that case, you would have to eat the whole container, and you might not be willing to do that. In most cases, though, which is where they get you, is that you should be dividing that container by anywhere from 2 servings up to 16 servings, depending on what you're buying. And so, like, if you consider most of the time the kombuchas that everybody loves, right? Those are actually a 2-serving drink most of the time. But who's going to open it and drink half of it, put it away, and then drink the other half? It's not as fresh the second time, right? And most of the time, we just don't even think about it. Whenever people buy great big bags of nuts or cans of nuts, that one's one of the worst because it's so high in fat that, yes, we need those fats and they're great for us. But when you're eating an entire can throughout the day, we might have some problems. The body might not need that much healthy fat. So the best way to do things like that is to go ahead and look at the labels whenever you buy the product. Think about, am I willing to divide this into what it needs to be? And if you are, then go ahead and divide it. Get some snap bags, get some little Glad Lock containers, get some little glass containers, whatever you need to divide it out, and go ahead and get it in the right portion sizes. Because if left to your own devices, as humans, we will eat until the container's empty. So I used to have a client long ago. He was in his late 70s whenever I was training him. And just a wonderful man. But his habit was to go to Sam's and buy the ginormous cans of animal crackers. Not your best food, but at some point in life, you get to enjoy life and do what you want to do when you're doing well on the rest of it. So he would buy those, and then instead of taking a handful out or getting a bag full or a plate full or something, he would set it beside his recliner while he watched TV. And he went through 3 of those containers every single week. His wife came to me and discussed some options, and we came up with some ways to kind of change that. But the first thing that we did was we made a smaller container to put them in, and we set that on the table beside his chair instead of on the floor beside him because that other one was so tall. We put it on the table, and he was able to minimize his portions, and that alone helped him to start to see some health benefits, from weight loss to fat loss, and just overall feeling better. He wasn't feeling quite so fatigued and having constipation all the time and things like that, which you can imagine that animal crackers might do to you. But just changing that serving size. So if you see a package that has more than 1 serving per package, double check and make sure that it's something that you're willing to separate. Because if not, you're probably going to get way more calories than what you were wanting out of it. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight into food labels. If you have more questions on nutrition, on exercise, on lifestyle, I would love to be able to answer those on Facebook Live for you. Feel free to post them below in the comments, and I'll be able to get to those in the next week or so to get you some answers for those things. If you feel like you need some more help coaching-wise on nutrition or exercise, feel free to give us a call, 806-322-3188. We'd be happy to help you out on finding a better plan to get going on. We'll talk to you soon.